Oh. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Why does that always happen at the start? Something always goes wrong at the start of the stream. Hopefully you can hear me now. What I was saying is welcome into the channel. Welcome to the stream. Welcome into the match reaction for today against Birmingham City, where QPR took a 1-0 defeat, I should say, to Birmingham at St Andrews. Just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in yesterday as well for the watch along. Great support on that. It was. Shout out to all you guys. Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you're okay, Nick. Hopefully you can hear me now. Thank you for tuning in tonight. So yeah, today's a bit late, so I do apologize. Obviously we got our match reaction. Usually we do around about 7 o'clock, maybe sometimes a little earlier. Tonight obviously been busy with work, so yeah, we're gonna eventually get into it now. So yeah, let's get into the next window. So yeah, as you can see, QPR took a loss to Birmingham City at St Andrews 1-0. With Patrick Roberts scoring in the first couple of minutes, in the 6th minute, I believe it was. A very good goal it was, indeed. Did I go into this game thinking we was going to lose? Yes, 100%. I didn't think we was going to win whatsoever. There was times where we looked a bit better, but it's still not looking great for QPR. As you can tell by the title, it says 4 defeats in a row. We haven't really been like this in a long time. It's been very weird to see. And it's just experiencing of last season at the end for us in that time of when we had our injury problems as well. I know I've been saying it a lot about injury problems, but realistically, you know, with the team we have out, we should still be doing something at least better than getting 4 losses in a row. So yeah, the only goal was obviously Patrick Roberts. It was completely a dominant first half for Birmingham. I believe it ended in like 70% possession for Birmingham in the first half. The amount of shots they've had at goal against us, you know, was crazy. If you go look at on FotMob, I know I say a lot of times don't look at FotMob, but at the end of the day, their match momentum was literally everywhere on the first half. We only had one glimpse of momentum in the 24th minute. and I can't even remember when that was, to be honest, on the pitch and who it was. All I can tell you right now, the Patrick Roberts goal was a very good goal. I believe he scored against us at our ground as well, in the home game against Birmingham. It was a real great run from Birmingham on the wing where Amadou Mbengue was. Amadou Mbengue personally should have been defending a lot better. He can't be getting skilled and nutmegged like that on the wing and outrun. And he literally just gave up after it. Once that ball went past him, he didn't even want to chase it. And with Jimmy Dunn and I think it was also Ronnie Edwards covering, no blocking, no attack on the defend. So yeah, it was a real letdown to see, and obviously it went straight to Patrick Roberts, and it was a very good goal, very similar goal to what they scored against us at home, and yeah, so that was the only goal in the game. Second half, obviously, we made some subs. Kieran Morgan, Ryan Colley and Davis all came on in various times. Obviously, Kieran Morgan Colley came on 46 minutes. Race Davis came on at 58. Jonathan Rand came off, Koki Sato and Steve Cook. Now, Steve Cook did come off, but before he went off, he was on the ground. He was not looking great. It looked like it could have been an injury. Really annoying. But hopefully it was just cramp in the leg. Fingers crossed it's not serious, because, you know, more injuries is going to be more problems, honestly, with QPR. So, yeah. But the subs didn't really make a difference whatsoever until, I'll be honest, Poku came on for Smith at 70 minutes. You know, Smith, I'm a bit confused why he came off. I honestly believe Sato should have come, not Sato, Harvey Vale should have come off for Poku. I think Smith played out his heart yesterday. Honestly, played for the badge. Absolute determination all the time, running for the ball and trying to get in there to get chances going. He had some chances, he did, and almost very reasonable against Birmingham. But Poku did come on for him. I'm a bit, like I said, I was a bit shocked by it. But Poku actually came on and did alright. He changed the game a little bit. We did attack once he came on in various times. You know, it was a bit more attacking from the 70th to pretty much the 85th minute. I can't say the whole game because Birmingham were pushing for a 2-0. They was right at the end at the full time. Yeah, we just sat back pretty much after the 90 minutes, pretty much. I think we just gave up after that. You know, they did bring in some players on the 76th minute, including Vincent and Fugimoto. You know, Kyogo did come on the 90th minute, who almost had an opportunity. Isaac Hayden came on for Jake Clark-Salter, and that changed the game where Ronnie Edwards was pushed back to defence, Hayden in midfield. Like I said, it did change the game a little bit for QPR. We looked like we was getting some shots at the goalkeeper, but unfortunately we just couldn't finish it properly and get any chances going whatsoever. You know, very, very disappointing game yet again. Luckily we expected it as fans. I know it's a horrible thing to say, but let's be honest, when you look at the stats of Birmingham in that game, 21 total shots, big chances 2, expected goals 1.7, and then obviously a difference in possession. It sums it up the game completely. You know, we was outplayed. They were passing the ball, obviously accurate passes, 84% for Birmingham. You know, 77% for us. We're lacking so much, we are, and it needs to be improved really, really quickly. You know, hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, we got our preview show for the Leicester City game tomorrow, and I really want to see at least a injury come back. You know, Ilias Share would be nice. We need creativity. We're lacking passing. It's so shambolic at the moment. Ridiculous, we are so far. You know, something needs to come good. You know, if I referred every stat here that I can see, you know, 10 corners to Birmingham, you know, we only had 1, fouls committed 9 each. You know, it's embarrassing. It really is. I know it was away from home, but you know, it was just a boring game, and most Birmingham City fans did say it was more the fact, well, one Birmingham City fan, I should say, said that they didn't really play well. We were just playing a shit team. So, yeah, I can understand that. I agree with that. You know, Birmingham did, in my opinion, play the ball really well. they looked really good at sometimes. And, you know, once Poku came on, it changed the game a little bit. You know, it's good to see Poku take a shot on goal. So, yeah, we'll hope to see more Poku, take our time with him on the bench and go from there. Nick says, nice to see Poku back as only positive, but I cannot understand if playing Kone up front on his own, there's no support to him. QPR says, hi, mate. Good to see you, Ryan. Hopefully you're having a good evening. I know it's tough night last night. I know I could tell by that because obviously you've been very quiet lately. So yeah. Nick says, don't know about RSDB, but when I watch Poku, he reminds me so much of Willock, with so much creativity. The thing with Poku is this. I don't think he's a creative player. I think he's more of a goal scorer and inside forward. But you know, we need to keep him fit to see the best of him. You know, I know a lot of players have been really bad signings this season and not shown the best, but honestly, for what we've seen in League One, a lot of people can say the big step from League One to Championship is a big threat. But listen, look, at the end of the day, if you're a talented player, you should be getting involved. You know, Paul Smith was sold away from us to Leyton Orient, or I should say released, and obviously I'm guessing he didn't have the experience of Championship, but when he got the experience in certain leagues, he has come back and he's looked like a lot better player. You know, I've always liked him, but yeah, hopefully Poku next season, something better, Kone something better, and some others there as well. You know, I really still don't understand why Mbenge is playing right back. Doesn't my head in. And yeah, we need to see what happens in the future for this club and see what happens with these players. You know, Poku, like you were saying, Nick, Poku, in my opinion, is a very talented player. We've seen it at Peterborough. We've seen videos of it. You know, we wouldn't be chasing a player just because of certain things. But yesterday, I feel like we saw a bit better of him compared to what we've seen already. You know, he hasn't been great on the field, but yesterday was hopefully an improvement in what we're going to see in the future. From what I've seen from him, thus I'm convinced he will be our standout creative player. I'll be honest, I feel like Harvey Vale is meant to be our creative player and Poku is meant to be our attacker. You know, if Kone is still playing by Leicester City, the Leicester City game, I'm going to be probably frustrated in the sense of why does he keep picking this team? That's why I'll get frustrated. You know, I've said this, you know, a lot of people say certain players are shit. You know, at the end of the day, Kone, we know he scores goals, but at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on with him right now. You know, he's out of form. You know, he did really well at the start of the season. And I really hope to see him come back and see more goals from him. You know, whether it's a step up or the energy or the motivation that so many injuries have killed the team. Don't know what to say on it, but fingers crossed we see someone different up front against Leicester on Saturday on the weekend. So yeah, to be honest, he should play 10 instead of Vale as he has more physical presence. Do you know what? I'm looking at it right now, and if Kone is not performing like what he is, we might as well just stick Collie up front and put Kone behind him. You know, because Kone, you know, if he's going to just hold off players and be a deep line forward, it's the only best bet to go, you know, by keeping Collie up front and putting him as a deep line forward. So yeah. I like Vale. I think he play in many positions. Yeah. We'll see what happens. We will. But yeah, not much happened in that first half. Second half was a lot better. I think we should just keep it there in a positive way. The man of the match, I think, went to let's have a look. The man of the match went to Roberts. I said that as well. If it was a QPR player, it would have been Paul Smith for me. He was brilliant. So yeah, but have a look at the ratings. Joe Walsh 7.2. This is why I don't like FotMob. I don't know how he got a 7.2. You know, it makes no sense. It's confusing. And Benge 6.6, Dunn 7.1, Cook 6.8, Clark Sort 6.4, Smith 5.9, Varane 6.5, Edwards 7.4, Vale 6.9, Kone 6.4, Sato 5.9. I find it weird how the best player that I thought on the day for QPR is the lowest rating. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. How is Smith getting a 5.9? It makes no sense. Can anyone, like, it's just stupid, man, honestly. Very stupid. Obviously, Kieran Morgan got 6.5, Ryan Colley 6.1, Davis 6.5, Poku 6.4, Isaac Hayden got a 6.2 as well. So, some ratings there, but obviously, you know, not the best. You know, Edwards, Dunn, and Walsh probably got the best performances on FotMob, as it's saying. Birmingham City wise, everyone apart from Stanfield and Dushkesh got a really good rating. So yeah, Robinson. It was a bit weird seeing Robinson in centre back, but yeah. Listen, look. At the end of the day, it's what it is, and it's what's happened. In the table wise, Birmingham have moved up obviously to 10th. QPR have gone down more, even to 18th. Like I said, 4 losses in a row. Leicester next, 1 win out of 5, and that was against Hull away. Still confused on what is going on at QPR right now. You know, we're 7 points clear off of 19th right now with Portsmouth, Blackburn, Leicester, Oxford, West Brom, and Sheffield Wednesday all at the bottom. So you got Sheffield Wednesday and West Brom all there. You know, we're pretty much 9 points, I think it is, from relegation. You know, a couple of wins would be nice. You know, we still can potentially get into the top 10. It's still there. But it's all down to what we do with our players and our performances in the next couple of weeks. You know, end of March has been a real horrendous one. I'll be honest, the start of the year has been a real horrendous one. I really want to forget about this year. And I really just want to continue going for next year. See what happens and go from there. I know a lot of people are still in and out with Julian. But let's see what happens on against Leicester. And we go from there. Obviously, like I said, match preview tomorrow night. Hopefully it will be a bit more earlier than tonight. Obviously, we're a bit late with this one. What's in the chat? Good to hear that you're feeling feeling good, Ryan. So good to see you in the chat. From what I've seen, obviously we've read that. Read that. Nick says, what are your thoughts, DB, with Ronnie as centre mid? I think he played well considered his first game there. Listen, look, we know Ronnie could play. I know Ronnie could play centre mid. I know that. I know he could play CDM. He's played it for Peterborough. He's played it for England. He's played it for Southampton in certain games. But personally, I still think he plays better centre back or right back. When that first goal went in, I don't know what Ronnie and Jimmy were doing. Someone should have been covering Ethan Laird with the ball on the wing. Amadou Ebenge, like I said, should be doing a lot better defending and not getting bugged out by that. So yeah, I think he's had a good game. He had an okay game. But I honestly would prefer him if he was at right back at the moment. That's where we've seen him best this season, since he's been signed. And yeah, that's how I would see it. So yeah. Do you agree with me, DB, that certain players might be frustrated with JS playing style tactically? There's a potential of that, Nick. There is potential of that. You know, we can't fault it. We don't know any information. You know, there might be something going on at the club. I don't know. Do I think tactically the formations are great? I'll be honest with you. No, I don't like it whatsoever. You know, the 4-4-2, you know, is a very old style tactic that Arsene Wenger would use. Whether he's trying to copy that, I don't know, because he's French. But realistically, in our league, I don't think 4-4-2 works. I think our league only works with whether it's 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, or something like that. I know 3-5-2 seems to be a bit better. But personally, listen, look, I think he needs to discover what is going on at the club, whether it's tactically or whatever, and he needs to adjust it real quickly and take risk in playing other players, whether they're in form or not, and go from there. Nick says, felt sorry for Jason's few players' first half performance. I think, you know, you can see he's demotivated 100% when he does these interviews. You can see that completely. But the only thing we can do is, whether we back him, whether we not, that's up to everyone on what they feel. At the end of the day, I back him still. I think you know, I still think he's trying to show us, as Almiron would say, an idea. So yeah. I hope we don't go down Spurs route and panic will lose. Listen, we won't go down. I promise you, and I made the bet. I made the bet with Zach. We are not going down, and that's how confident I am. I know we ain't going down, and you know, if I'm wrong, shoot me. There we go. But I have 100% confidence that we're not going down. We have too much of a good squad to go down, and look at the teams below us. I don't think we'll go down. Rodrigo, welcome to chat. Thank you for tuning in. Is this Premier League or no? No, this is EFL Championship. The same league as where Wrexham, Leicester City are in. Probably teams that you would know. So, yeah. But thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in the chat. Apart from that, I think that's it. I think that's everything we've covered for today. Like I said, we got Leicester. We do our match preview tomorrow. We will. But apart from that, fingers crossed, you know, we get to see something better on Saturday. I know the two streams have not been great in the sense of motivation, and looking like, obviously, disappointment. You know, I know everyone can feel it in the chat as well. There's no morale, there's no confidence and all of that. You know, and we go again, obviously, Saturday, see what happens, and we'll go from there. I know we won't go down, but just don't want QPR board to panic. Listen, the QPR board will not panic whatsoever. The QPR board are very confident in Julian. You can tell that by, obviously, what's going on at the club. If the panic was there, they would have sacked him today. Personally, they would have sacked him today. If the results don't... If the panic is this, if we go into 20th or 21st with only like 4 points, 3 points away from relegation, yes, time to panic, get him out. It's that simple. But because we're still, you know, it's an even league at the moment still, we're very close to end of the season. You know, I personally think we will not get relegated. You know, I reckon let's get Leicester out of the way. Let's get Leicester. I want to see certain players hopefully come back in time. In fact, let's have a look at the if we look at our schedule in fixture wise. So the next games, obviously we got Leicester, Portsmouth. So Leicester's going to be a difficult one. Portsmouth at home should be fine. Watford at home could be okay. Preston away, don't know what to say about that. Bristol at home, going to be difficult. Millwall away, going to be difficult. Swansea at home, possibly 3 points. Derby at home, possible 3 points. Ipswich away, last league game. I would say we're going to lose that one. But we need to make sure that we are safe before the Millwall game, I would say. So yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games left of the season, and we got on there. Any news on Coventry forward we signed? No news on whatsoever on that whatsoever. At the end of the day, for what I've been told, you know, I can only go by with that, and we'll see what happens. If any news comes out this week, you know, I'm hoping he does a match preview tomorrow. We'll probably hear some news on any injury problems, anyone that's coming back. But my main focus right now is hopefully Steve Cook's fine, he's not injured, and we go from there. I would like to say thank you for tuning in tonight. I know these match reactions are a bit of pain in the ass when you listen to me. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in last night as well. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you want to, and we'll catch you tomorrow night with our match preview against Leicester City. Have a good evening. Don't forget, peace, love, positivity. Cheers, boys.